r/AskReddit. What's a law that is rarely enforced? Pubs in Australia are legally required to provide somewhere to hitch and water your horse. They don't. They're also meant to cut you off before you get too drunk. In the UK, it's illegal to handle a salmon under suspicious circumstances. Giving alcohol to an intoxicated person. Practically every country forbids to sell alcohol to someone already drunk, but it's very rarely enforced. It helps barkeepers to tell people they won't be served anymore, though. Edit. Barkeepers, not barkeepers. In South Carolina, when approaching a blind intersection in an automobile, you must discharge a firearm 3 times into the air to warn horse traffic. Oral sex is against the law in many areas. It's illegal to eat a donut while walking backwards in Marion, Ohio. Under California Vehicle Code 26708 subdivision 2, a person shall not drive a car with any object or material placed, affixed, or installed on the vehicle which obstructs or reduces the driver's clear view through the windshield or side windows, which includes anything ranging from air fresheners to graduation tassels. In my hometown, it's illegal to walk down the sidewalk on a Sunday with an ice cream cone in your back pocket. I honestly just want to know who did this and caused problems enough that it needed to be made illegal. Edit. Apparently the idea is that horses love ice cream and that the ice cream in the back pocket is a way to lure another man's horse away from wherever it is. It's an anti-horse theft measure. Thanks Google. Jaywalking. Separating abused children from their families. It would be mind-blowing to some people how rarely this is actually done. I think when a lot of us think about calling child welfare, we think a nice lady is going to show up and some mother will be woefully wailing for their child. With social workers so overworked, the amount of kids who slip through the cracks is absolutely staggering. Even with the limited, and often protected, statistics on the topic, the idea is that removing children from their families is very traumatic, as if being abused is less traumatic, and the state just doesn't have the resources to rehome all these kids with fosters. So, the parents say oh, they fell. The kid nods obediently and the cycle continues. Abuse often worsening once social workers get involved. It's just a mess. My dad grew up in the system. It's tough, but better than being abused or worse. Edited. Typo. There is a law in Singapore that not flushing a toilet is illegal and incurs a fine of $150. It isn't as enforced as other laws though. In Idaho, you can't fish from the back of a giraffe. Camping in the left lane is actually illegal in many states. Police should be ticketing people for it, but they don't. You technically can't take pictures of the Eiffel Tower at night because the lights on the tower are trademarked or something, but it's not really enforced. Also, I'm pretty sure the US flag code legally cannot be enforced. The UK has a bunch of dumb laws that no one cares about that will never be changed because of the historical significance. It's illegal to gamble in a library. It's illegal to die in the Houses or Parliament. It's illegal to put a postage stamp in the wrong place on the letter or upside down. It's because it has the Queen's image on it. It's illegal to shake a rug out between midnight and 8 AM in London. It's illegal to use a cow, horse or steam engine while drunk. It's illegal to handle salmon suspiciously, whatever that means. It's illegal to wear a suit of armor in Parliament. It's illegal to be sockless near the Queen. In York you are legally allowed to shoot a Scotsman with a crossbow on any day that isn't Sunday, but only in York. There's also a specific law that says a pregnant woman can urinate in a policeman's helmet. There's many more but I can't go on and on. Speeding. Since the coronavirus broke out and I have to work 20 miles from my house, I've been a bad boy. There's a legend in Argentina and some other Latin countries about an animal called lobezón. As the story says, if you have 7 children and the 7th one is a male, all the nights with a full moon, he will transform himself in like a werewolf. It really looks alike. Okay, so, since the 19th century, if any woman told the president about her 7th child was a male, the president would be his godfather. Also, in 1973, the government created a law, 20.843, which basically says that if your 7th child is a male, the president will give him scholarships for elementary and high school, and he'll be his godfather. It's pretty random, but the laws for keeping chickens, depending on your city. Found this out when my family got chickens and we learned you're only allowed a certain amount of chickens and have to pay for a permit and have to keep them in a cooperative. A bunch of my friends' families got chickens too. This was a weird trend. IDK, we lived in the suburbs too, and none of them got permits and only a few made coots for them. Unless you got snitchy neighbors, no one really cares. In Denver, it is illegal to lend a vacuum cleaner to your neighbor. Well, illegal to lend a vacuum to a next door neighbor, but it's perfectly okay to lend a vacuum to a friend down the street. I can't believe there isn't a task force dedicated to putting these people away. I remember Kansas and some other states I have lived in had a few interesting laws, to say the least. I remember one was the illegality of hunting whales. In Kansas it's landlocked and it is not possible to find whales. It's also illegal to hunt rabbits while hanging from the side of a boat. In Manhattan, there was an ordinance wherein so long as a person had a towel and a bar of soap while naked and near a body or water or during heavy rain, it was legal to bathe oneself. However, public nudity remained illegal in the city as well. So this loophole was still punishable by law enforcement. Thus why the ordinance then. In Portugal, peeing in the ocean is illegal. Can't imagine how anyone's gonna enforce that. Up here in Alaska we have a law that states no vehicles other than state troopers and Alaska pipeline vehicles are allowed on the pipeline trails. Nobody enforces this and the trails are regularly used as a way to get to hunting trails and gold mining operations. So really to enforce said law would be to cut off about half of Alaska's infrastructure. At least where I live, apparently it's illegal to ride a bicycle without a helmet, but honestly no one cares. In Western Australia it is illegal to carry more than 20 kilograms of potatoes. Many US states have laws against adultery and fornication. Jaywalking. Watching movies illegally for free online. They tend to go after the people distributing them, not watching them. It's illegal to get drunk in pubs in the UK. As a law historian, this is perfect. In the UK, if a taxi is travelling with a hay bale at speeds over 25 miles per hour, they must have a horse-drawn carriage in front brandishing a red flag as a caution. The Logan Act. It's only been used once in 244 years if I recall correctly. Driving too slow. Marijuana is illegal. Jaywalking and, depending on the county, city, town you live in, underage drinking. Motorists texting or talking on handheld cell phones while driving. Here in Texas it's technically illegal to panhandle, ask for money in public, but it's never enforced that I've seen. In Missouri, you can get pulled over for crossing the center line of the road. My city has a law that makes wearing high heels illegal, and I only found out about from a TV show that went over weird laws. Littering. Though I was astonished when my buddy got a $50 ticket for tossing a cigarette out the window. Criminal Code of Canada. Acts intended to alarm Her Majesty or break public peace. 49. Everyone who willfully, in the presence of Her Majesty, does an act with intent to alarm Her Majesty or to break the public peace, or b. does an act that is intended or is likely to cause bodily harm to Her Majesty, is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 14 years. Eating an orange in your bathtub. It's actually illegal in California to do this, but it's never enforced for conspicuous reasons. This is a law because back then they thought the orange could cause bath oils to catch on fire or something like that. In my city it is an arrestable offense to cross the street while walking on a handstand. I really doubt the police enforce that law or even know it's a law to begin with. There's a few silly laws in my home state for women. Can't cut your hair without husband's permission. Can't drive on a Sunday, city specific. Can't have more than 3 women who are unrelated living together, city specific. Red headlights apparently. Also the use of light bars pods as a replacement for headlights. I don't think I've ever heard of someone being charged with removing that tag from their mattress. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.